Hi there, Jeff here from the Wetsuit Centre, talking to you today about the Rip Curl E-Bomb for winter 2015 into 2016. Okay, so the E-Bomb has been around for a long old time now and has always been a really popular wetsuit. Always worn by the pros, the reason being that it's the most flexible performance wetsuit within the range. So really built for comfort, ultimate movement and stretch. Okay, that obviously counts for winter as well. I doubt those guys will often wear a 543 like this wetsuit is. But even if it is a 543, it's still built for flexibility and stretch and movement, that kind of thing. So the E-Bomb and the Rip Curl range has always been sort of undergoing a bit of a rejig, but obviously in recent years the Dawn Patrol has changed and come up the ranks, if you like, and almost looks, the chested Dawn Patrol pretty much looks like an old E-Bomb used to. The E-Bomb Pro, which we've done a separate video on, is now the zip-free option of the wetsuit, and then the E-Bomb is still here. Still a performance, flexible wetsuit, but there's a few sort of key changes this year. Then obviously you move into the flash bombs, zip-free or zipped. So the E-Bomb, so it's always really popular. We sell out of these every year. Really good wetsuit, really flexible, and now it's got a bit of a sort of extra on this year's wetsuit. So what makes it such a performance wetsuit? The neoprene, basically. The neoprene itself is 100% E4 neoprene. So that E4 neoprene is basically Rip Curl's most stretchy, lightweight neoprene that they offer. Okay, so it's 100% the whole way through the suit. Okay, it's very non-absorbent, it dries very quickly, and it's incredibly flexible. Okay, the whole way through the suit, that runs through. Really lightweight. Okay, and it just seems to be getting better and better. So that E4 is the whole way through the suit. And one thing that you will have noticed, that the E-Bomb previously always had big panels of neoprene to make sure that there's no stitching and give you ultimate movement. Okay, so they never had any sort of smooth skin on the suit. But in an introduction this year, you'll probably have noticed, if you're familiar with the E-Bomb, you have the back panel now. And that's a smooth skin panel, and that material is really good at keeping wind out of the suit, which then keep your lumbar and your kidneys warm. Tries to keep your blood warmer and keeps you in the water for longer. So it's a bit of a thermal option on this particular E-Bomb. The seams are glued and blind stitched as per normal, so stitched halfway through on the outside of the suit. Then you turn it inside out. It's then basically glued to seal the wetsuit, make sure that no water comes in. And then in key areas of the suit, through most of it I think, if we turn it inside out in a second, you've got that E4 taping, which is a flat tape. Feels good against the skin, really flexible, and just gives the suit a little bit more of a shelf life. Makes it nice and robust in the key areas so it doesn't pull apart. Got that liquid taping on the outside there just to create a better bond with your glove. Okay. As I said before, minimal panelling in the suit, so any seams that are put onto the wetsuit are strategically placed and bent to match the contours of the body, make sure that that real flexibility is promoted the whole way through the suit. But one thing that is different with the suit this year is you have this really thin welding on the lower part of the suit. So this never was here before, basically because it was all about flexibility, so keep these things to a minimum, keep any sort of restriction to a minimum. But just to give the suit a little bit of more of a shelf life, stop any water coming in through the seams in the key areas, they've now just added that sort of power welding, that seam welding there, which is very thin, very flexible, but good at keeping water out of the wetsuit. Then it's stitched from the inside out, glued, and then taped with this tape. So it's a nice little feature. You've got the Enduraflex knee pads, as always, strategically placed around the knee to stop any wear and tear through, so if you're duck diving, that kind of thing with your knee. Liquid taping around the outside, and then you've got quite a cool little metallic magnetic pocket now. So there's a little magnet in there which snaps it shut. So if you're keeping your key in there, you've still got the loop inside, but now you've got a little sort of magnet there. Fancy. It's a chest zip wetsuit, which means obviously you get in through the top of the suit. So I'll walk you through that in a second. Back of the suit's kind of cool, I think, with that sort of like bent lumbar panel. You can see it's just meant for stretch, so there's no sort of parts of it which are going to restrict you. Same with the chest, really, and around the back. Any sort of dipped seams just mean that it's there to allow you to move backward and forward without any restriction. Okay, the chest zip then is same with the actual wetsuit itself. Open up the zip from inside to out. The chest panel goes up and over the top of the actual inside of the wetsuit. Locked down on one side, so if any water comes in through the top here, it's actually met with the wetsuit itself, then it's either drained out through the drain holes on the front here, or the ones around the back here as well. Okay, so the water doesn't stay in the chest system. and it shouldn't go into the wetsuit. But obviously that's going to be it's going to happen at one point, because you can't stop water going into the suit at the end of the day if you're going sort of pace or at speed, basically. Okay, so that's pretty much the chest zip. So what I'll do now is I'll turn the suit inside out. You can have a little look inside. The only downer I'd say with the suit is they're still using the plastic zips with these suits, which I just think feel a little bit cheap. Now, honestly, we don't get many of them back because of a failed zip, so they are pretty robust, and obviously Rip Curl are happy with them, but they do just feel a little bit cheap for me, and I prefer a metal zipper on there, but that's just me. What I'll do now, turn the suit inside out. You can have a little look and see what's going on inside. Now, because of the sort of introduction of this different technology, and because you've got the E-Bomb Pro, which is the zip-free option, basically this suit has become a bit more of a hybrid. So because of that liquid taping and the sort of thermal lining around the lumbar, it's been a little bit heavier than it has maybe in previous years. It's a 5.43 as well, so it's not just a 5.3. So it's a bit more of a warmer suit than it used to be, the E-Bomb, this particular E-Bomb. But I guess they feel that they can do that because the E-Bomb Pro, the zip-free version, has now become the out-and-out performance wetsuit. Turn inside out then. As I said before, that most of the suit is lined with that E4 taping on the inside of the suit, that orange taping. It's basically made of the E4 neoprene. It's extremely flexible, good at keeping the water out, and really nice against the skin. Okay, that's pretty much everything going on with the E-Bomb for 2015 to 2016. Looks really nice this year, and where the sort of previous year's E-Bomb was lacking a little bit of warmth and thermal properties, without the sort of thermal lining, I think with the sort of taping inside and the liquid taping on the outside, and the suit being a bit thicker, it now will be a little bit warmer. So it's a really good compromise between warmth and flexibility. Definitely a wetsuit worth considering for your winter wetsuit for this year.